Well, welcome back, my friends, all to another rousing rendition of Choir Boys Outdoors. This one's going to be different. It's all right. I always talk about how much I love, I got knives on the channel and I love this and I love that and I adore this knife. And you see it every video, right? This video is about knives I don't adore and I don't like. I put the title as Knife Companies and Knife People I Hate. Listen, let me be real with you and let me be up front. I couldn't think of a good title, so if I put knives that I don't typically care for, of course I might do that. I don't know. One of the titles, here's the thing. Here's the bottom line. Let me start over. Well, welcome back, my friends, to another rousing rendition, a different rendition than we've ever done. Knives I really don't care for. Why would I do this? I'll tell you right. Two reasons. One is I was asked specifically yesterday in a comment why I hate Essie. That's the first reason, and they weren't being a troll. They were legit asking, and I almost responded with a short to that, but then I thought, no, let me do a long form. It's going to be a little longer than 3 minutes. The other thing I didn't want to do, sometimes I'll clip the comment and put it. I don't think they were being smart. And sometimes when folks ask legit questions and I do it in that format, they catch strays, and that's not the intention. So we're going to discuss several knives, and here's the other thing. I don't hate anybody in this game. I don't hate Trent from Texas, even though he's an idiot. I don't hate Trent. Hate is a strong word. But there are certain knife companies and there are certain knives I just don't care for. The other reason that I am making this video is this. I have said several times, because people have asked, joking, cutting up, and seriously, Scab, is there a knife you don't like? And I always say, yeah, the ones you don't see on the channel. Well, here's the problem with me saying that. Although that is true, I typically don't review things I don't like because I think it does a disservice to not only the knife, but the people who make it, who are trying to make a living, and that's not me. I'm not here to bash people or to cost people money, right? But that led me to this. There have been a lot of people who have said, Scab, can you check out this knife, this knife, this knife? And I'll always say, let me see if I can get my hands on one, let me see. And sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, but I don't ever want anyone to think that I don't like the knife you suggested. That's not it. Contrary to popular belief, no matter how many subscribers I got, no matter how many views, none of that, I can't just snap my fingers and get any knife in the world I want. I can get a lot of them. And I'm not even talking about going through companies. I've got a lot of folks who really help this channel out. But I want to pick out a few knives that I just don't care for that a lot of people do, okay? And maybe answer some questions in the meantime. The first one is Mornev. Now, people that like these, the knives that I don't like, they love them, and I want y'all to listen to me. There's nothing wrong with these knives, all of them, any brand that I mentioned, right? Well, there is one brand, and we're going to talk about that. This is a sharp knife. They're cheap. They're easy to get. There's nothing wrong with the knife. It's a great knife to learn on. It's a great knife if you need it in a pinch to cut stuff. It's just not my thing. And what you're going to find throughout this video is it's not a shot at the company. People take shots sometimes when they just don't like something. This whole game, Knife Tube, I don't care what platform it's on, Knife Tube is opinions. I don't give a shit what anybody says. So I don't want my opinion to hurt a company. Now, Mornev's worldwide, they make millions of dollars a year, right? So I'm not arrogant enough to think that I could hurt their sales. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to, not only do I not want to hurt their sales, I don't want to piss somebody off or hurt somebody's feelings thinking I think this is a bad knife. I don't think it's a bad knife. It's just not for me. It might be for you. People buy these for a lot of reasons, not just budget. That's the main reason, I think, but they're sharp and they're cutting tools, but it's not for me. So we're going to put that there. The next knife that I just don't care for, and I know I'm going to get some flack on this, is Essie. I know, I get it. Greatest knife ever made. The problem is Essie don't make knives, Rowan does. Now, I think they're quality. I think they're great. I think it's a damn good knife. And for some of y'all, it's the only knife for you. And I get it. That's great. Just like I love Work Tough Gear and others, y'all love this. Here's what's the thing with Essie. And the thing with every company I'm going to mention is this. While like the SE6, and I do have one, you see I got one, it's comfortable in hand, all that, it's a good knife. It's not for me. And we've got to get to a point in a place where we're okay to say it's not for me without trying to cause the company to go bankrupt, without running something down. I don't interject myself in a company's business. I just don't. I never have. That's not my personality. I have real world problems, not internet problems. I don't have time. So a lot of people that love Essie, love Essie. I'm not here to knock it. I met the guys from Essie, I think 2 years ago at Blade Show. Seemed to be really nice guys. The caveat, I've got two caveats with Essie. The first is the PR4 with the scalloped handles. One of my favorite small mid-sized knives of all time. I adore that knife. It's a Kephart style. I think it's Patrick Rollins. I think, if I'm getting the last name wrong, I'm sorry. But the PR4 scalloped handles, awesome knife. The other one's the Jungless. I've never tried one. Everybody tells me that I love big knives. I got to try one. At some point, I will try one. Okay? So when somebody said, and the guy who asked me the question, do I hate Essie? No, but here's the thing. If I don't like a knife, if it's not my style, and I try to review it because I am a person who wears their heart on their sleeve. I am a person who loves doing this. I am a person who gets excited about learning and trying. If I review an Essie and maybe I'm not feeling it, I don't want it to reflect poorly on a good product. I do care. Regardless of what anybody thinks of me, I do care. And I'm not trying to hurt a brand or trying to hurt a company. There's a couple companies I wished I would have, honestly, and save some people some money. That's something we're going to talk about directly in a second, and it won't happen again. But the next company, and here's the thing with this company, it's Case, right? This was a gift gifted to me by my neighbor. And the thing is this, I want to like Case. I want to love Case. But every time I start, and I'm like, well, I might start collecting Case knives. Every single time I'll see 5 or 6 videos on quality. Now, the thing that I say more than anything else is this. I have to see for myself, right? So we have a Ace Hardware here in town. They carry Case. We went today, and the guy was good enough to let me check a couple out. There was a lot of blade wobble. There were some QC issues there, and I'm like, man, I want to like Case. I do. The nostalgia, the whole deal. And this is a good one. This one's great. I've got no qualms with this one. But I'm like, am I going to invest that money? Because I'm going to tell you, if I start buying them, here's the deal with me. I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know what I like, you know what I don't. If I'm already on the fence about a company and I go and I spend $100 to $200 or $300 on a couple knives and they're wobbly and I'm not going to be happy. It's not going to come out in the video. And where I should have maybe taken a day or two to calm down, I'm going to do a big blow up. And again, Case is a huge company. I'm not acting like I could devastate their market, but why even put it out there? I'm going to wait a year or two, see what they do. Again, I love the style. It's just, and I want to say it's for me. But right now, it's not. Benchmade is another one. Here's the deal with Benchmade. I have never, there's the Siebert designs I like from Benchmade. I don't own a Benchmade. I have reviewed a few. Again, they're fine products, right? I don't give a shit about their politics. We don't do politics, religion, or hurt on this channel. They're just not my style, right? I want to like them sometimes, but I don't. Benchmade and Essie are two companies that they do have a couple knives I like. I've enjoyed reviewing them, but overall, you're probably not going to see much of on the channel. And I want to address this before I move forward to the next company, because this one's going to get more screaming people than anything. I want y'all to understand something, because somebody said this before. They said, well, he just don't like it because they don't send him free knives. Listen to me. If I want to try out a knife, I can try out just about any brand in the world when it comes to certain American brands, because the lifeblood of this channel is not what companies send me. It's what a handful of subscribers send me on the monthly. Whenever I need different knives to check out, I can get a box in. When I tell you I can't just snap my fingers and get knives, I'm talking about knives. Some people ask for some off-the-wall stuff, man, that is hard to get, that will take me a while to get. There's certain companies that just aren't going to send out knives. They're not, and I'm good with that. Plus, I never ask anybody. I should probably start. But I want you to understand this. Getting a free knife, I'm so far past that point because I know that if I need knives to review, I can get them. And by the way, guys, these are all mine. These are things that I own, all except one. These and that, I've got knives if I need to review. And that's not a look at me, I'm just saying, that's not a reason. The next company is Buck, right? And here's the thing about Buck. I've got a couple. It's not the company. It's the buckaroos. It's the fanboys. You're intolerable. You're insufferable. I did a video batoning and it broke and everybody just lost their shit. Well, because it was hollow ground, this, that, and the other. Well, I just did a K-bar hollow ground and batoned it just as hard as I did the one that broke on Buck, and it did fine. Now, here's the thing. I love the way this looks. This is the General, the 120. Thanks to Jesse for sending it to me, gifting it to me. I do love this knife. I love the look of this knife, the whole deal, right? But here's the thing, guys, because I've literally had people comment, well, you know, that's not what that's made for, and you shouldn't do that. Well, if I've got to change the way that I review knives, and this channel has had less knives chip, crack, break than any other channel on YouTube, any other point blank period. So as much as I wanted to stay humble with the other thing and say, well, it was probably me. Now, you know what? I'm not amending what I do to check out a knife because it's not abusive. It's basic tasks, right? Do I hate the company? No. I don't like the buckaroos. I'll be 100% honest with you. The other company, the last company I want to talk to you about, and then we're going to move to a couple of foreign companies, is Spyderco. I have the Yo Jumbo. I lost my PM2, and I'm sick about it. I never liked the PM2 until I got one, and I used that thing, 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 and I set it down when I was at work at Home Depot, and it walked off. That's my fault. But I was sick about that. But the PM2, the Shaman, the Yo Jumbo, I like. But Spyderco, this is the Akuchi, which this one I'm selling for somebody, by the way. I had one of these. I wanted to like it. I went to open it. It went up in the air and stabbed me. I sold that some bitch quickly, or I gave it away. But Spyderco is one of those. Spyderco is one of the few brands that I can look at. I like a few of them, love a few of them, hate a few of them. It's just one of those things. Now, somebody inevitably will say, well, you just picked American brands. No, I'm going to talk to you about a couple things. There's a couple of companies you won't see on the channel. Eff Grow, Stivian, a few more. Not because I think they're bad products. I don't dislike them. Eff Grow in particular does a lot of knockoff designs. Here's my thing with that. Because somebody inevitably will say, well, Scab, if they're too expensive from Work Tough Gear, they can get this from Eff Grow. You know what? There's a huge part of me that goes, that makes sense. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it. And it's not just Work Tough Gear. It's other brands. It's other designers. It's other. Here's the thing, guys. You buy what you want to buy. I will never, ever, never, ever, never come down on you or act better than you or anything because you bought what you can afford. Anybody that watches this channel knows that. It's just a personal thing, and I hope you understand it. I think Eff Grow makes some good stuff. I got to handle some earlier this year when I was in the Everglades for that survival class. One of the other classmates had a bunch, and I was impressed. That's a personal choice. Do I hate Eff Grow? No. No. You know what? I wouldn't be as and I'm not upset. I wouldn't be as hard-lined against it. Now, Stivian, I'm willing to try. That's not a problem I have with Stivian. Let me separate that. I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it as if they just said, hey, X designer, we took your design, let's cut you a check. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, I know every blade shape's been made. I know, but when it's a blatant knockoff, guys, they are taking money out of people's pockets. And they're making plenty because they're selling it lower, they're selling more. Okay, and this ain't a whining thing. I'm just explaining to you how I feel. So if Eff Grow said, "Hey, here's a check to a knife designer," okay, well, do whatever. And again, let me make this clear: It is your money. You spend it where you want to, and don't ever think that if we're out and you come up to me and you got an effort, I'd be mad. I'd love to check it out. I'm not that way. I'm just talking about for this channel. With Stivian and some other brands, they make good knives. Here's the thing. There are so many channels that review it, and this is my last point. There are knives that you won't see on here, not because they're bad knives, not because they're not my style, not because of anything, except there's a ton of people that review them. There's certain brands that are all over the internet that you can get some really good reviews from other guys, other gals, both, other knife reviewers. There are some great knife reviewers out there. There really are. I'm trying my best to leave comments and shout people out. Raybo, and I can't remember the numbers that go after it. I had it all the way up till that thought. I'll put him in the description. Bearded Knife Guy, I'll put him in the description. Pins and Pen Knives. There's a lot of guys out there who do a phenomenal job. Missouri Survival, I sent him some knives to check out. By the way, Trent from Texas, you stupid bastard. Trent from Texas, it's Trent, I'm not going to say the last name. Trent put on there, I think it's a dumb design. Well, Trent, I guarantee you, thinks it's a dumb design because he thinks I designed it. Jed Hornbeak designed it. I'm just a collaborator on it. By the way, the sheep's foot, the only thing on there, and these aren't camp knives. These are do-all multifaceted knives. We're going to add a 90-degree spine so that you can do a lot of, they're great knives. This was a knife. I can't even say this is my design. This has a lot of my input on it, right? That handle is insane. The handle, this is the same chassis as the one Missouri Survival's checking out, but Trent, look, dumb design. I bet you he'd probably have a stroke because his hero is Donnie B all day. D-Bad is my brother from another mother. By the way, Donnie, before I forget, Bubba, I haven't forgot. I will be sending you a box, you and Joe, sometime this week. I messaged you about I messaged Donnie about sending some APOC. Donnie and Joe, y'all hear me talk about them a lot because we're friends off of YouTube. We met up at Blade. We had a great weekend, hung out all weekend. Joe's been to my house. Donnie, I drove 2.5 hours to have dinner with, and we hung out in Savannah. So those guys are my friends, right? But it's funny that a lot of the people that just are absolute haters on me love Donnie. I don't get it, but it's typical. But that being said, there are knives that aren't for me, but I don't hate anybody, guys. I'm not inserting myself. I want to end with this. Survive Knives, we all know what happened there. When it fell hard. I never was sent a knife from Survive. I never was sent a knife from Guy. I had a couple of conversations with him. He screwed a lot of people over, point blank, period. All the knives, all the Survive knives that I ever reviewed were from JR. JR has been one of the people that are a lifeblood of this channel. I think Timbo sent one or two for me to check out as well. Carnivora is a company that I reviewed a lot of, that I believed in, and that I regret ever showing anything they did, because in the end, while I do not hate Don at all, I am severely disappointed in Don. I am disappointed at the level of betrayal that went on. I feel responsible, and I feel stabbed in the back at the same time. Again, Don, I don't hate you at all, man. But ghosting everybody, screwing people over, it just ain't right. It's not. I pushed that product because I believed in that product. That won't happen again. I have started more and more, before I take anything on from people, I try to look into their company as much as I can. I try to give, I might act aloof about certain things, but I am doing my due diligence behind the scenes the best I can, because while I'm not on here to sell you a knife, I do take responsibility when I show a knife on here. When I'm showing a knife on here, unless I say, hey, these are out of stock, or there's a lot of the knives I show, guys, that are discontinued. Why show them? Because I'm a knife channel that wants to share his journey. I am trying to be more and more and more cognizant and aware of the companies that I'm having on here, whether they send a knife or whether a subscriber sends a knife, I am trying to do my due diligence. That being said, thank you guys for sharing this Sunday afternoon with me. I'm Scab. You're not. I love y'all. Listen, y'all know my causes. The 22 veterans a day. The bottom line with that is this. Vets, we love you, man. You have a place here. That's it. I want you to know that. You are welcome here. I back the blue. I don't shove it down your throat. I'm not arguing with you about it. It's something I've believed in for a long time. The whole back the blue till it happens to you, well, it's happened to me more than it'll happen to most. I have my reasons, but I understand those that don't. They have their reasons as well. Finally, if you are an addict, and I am, big time, never quit quitting. Well, guys, I love y'all. I'm Scab. You're not. We gone, son. Put in the comments if there's brands. Well, don't, because there'll be all kind of stuff. Love y'all.